Foundation and our podcast, Talking at Music Education, coming live from the 2018 NAMM show here in Anaheim, California. And through the good partnership with EnterTalk Radio, we're coming to you via Facebook Live. So thank you for joining us. Please let folks know that we're here at the NAMM show and we'd love to share it with you. I'm so delighted to have here a guest, Bunny Brunel.
I'm delighted to be with you here.
And if you aren't aware that this wonderful man is also a remarkable bass player. So
That's what people say,
that's
So
what people
I'm
say. And
gonna
we're
have,
going to keep saying it for as long as we can. All right. So, one of the pleasures we have at Talking at Music Education is chatting with well known musicians, multiple Grammy nominated, playing with Grammy Award artists and main name, Stevie Wonder, Herbie Hancock, to name, I could keep
name a
naming,
few.
just
Yeah,
name
name a
many,
few.
right? And also an innovator with the bass. But also almost always with talking at music education, we go back to your origin story,
Okay,
right?
well,
The origin story. So
origin state.
when did it all begin for you? Did you have an opportunity to learn music when you were young and in school? Was there
Well,
compulsory
in
music?
France, they do not teach music in school.
And what part
You
of
going?
France?
You. I'm from the south of France, from Nice, and what happened? It's just usually people end up after school going to the classical conservatory. So that's where you learn. So when I was 6 years old, my mom took me and you learn how to,
The
solfeggio, to read the
solfège, yes.
music and all that. And then when I was 9 years old, I got few piano lessons, but my mother couldn't afford it. So I ended up just banging on the piano by myself. It's just like, And I remember trying to play Misty, Harold Gardner, doo
Right,
doo doo, bling bling, bling, so
right.
anyway, I keep doing and keep figuring out things. Obviously, I have a very good ear, so I can, And one day, if somebody, I found that I was at college. I went to the hotel college in Nice. They have a Ecole Hoteliere.
So you went to
I learn
the
about all hotels.
all the hospitality industry.
Yes, so
Just
I
right.
learn how to run. I can run a hotel. I know everything about hotels. From cleaning the glasses to accounting and things like that. So I found an acoustic guitar that had the headstock was broken. You know, and I brought it to a friend of mine. I was a cabinet maker, so he fixed it. I put some mechanics, strings, and I started like I was just playing. Strumming chords and everything, and just shortly after, they were looking for the band of the college was looking for a guitar player to, comping, so I end up being in the band. There's some pictures. It's funny on my site. You can see me with the
Hmm.
dark glasses with a guitar, looking
Cool.
really cool,
Very cool. Right.
and it's just all totally self-taught, always learning the thing by myself by ear. And one day they told me, oh, one of the guy in the school here is going to play the bass. So here is some money. Goes to that place and bring a bass back. We were talking acoustic bass, okay? So I went to the place, picked up an acoustic bass and came back, for the rehearsal. I say, here is the bass. He say, well, the guy is not gonna make it. Why don't you play the bass? That's how I became a bass
Isn't
player.
that amazing?
I started playing. I think that was cool, playing the acoustic bass.
So
And
were you in college age? Where did you
oh
go
yeah,
to
college. Yes, it was
and then you
college.
went to the conservatory?
I
Did
was
you?
I was to the conservatory before, and
Okay.
then after that, I decided to go to the conservatory to learn actually how to play that instrument with the
The
bow and the
upright bass,
classical,
the
the upright
classical
bass.
bass,
Yes,
right.
classical. So
And
I learned how to play the classical and things like that. And it was a 3 years courses.
and that
Three
was in the conservatory in Nice.
in Nice.
Now, this is where I have the surprise for you
Okay.
because when I was a professional flutist for many years
Hmm.
and I studied at the conservatory in Nice.
Ah, very good.
And
So
it's up on the hill,
yeah, it's
right?
beautiful
And
place, isn't it?
yes, and I would walk from
That's
town. Lived in the town,
yeah.
and I would walk every morning and have to climb many
Yes,
steps. So it is
that's
the
right. I
same
know it's
building,
same
right?
building. Yes,
And it
it's
was
gorgeous.
beautiful. And
It's a
and
gorgeous
and
place.
there was a faculty member that came from the Paris Conservatory, and then for 2 weeks of that training, we had master classes there. So when I was reading all about you, and I can't wait to tell you I went
Oh,
to the
that's
same,
good. Yeah, that's
and
amazing.
and
That
I
you're the
live
first person that I meet in America that have been to that
and
conservatory.
I lived in the city for 6 months.
Excellent. So, do you speak
Oh,
any French at all? Vous
oh,
parlez un peu français?
I spoke so much French when I lived there, and I could go to the markets, and I could have
Mm.
people over, and
Mhm.
and it was, and I got on the plane, and I never spoke a word of
Yeah,
French.
that's the
So,
problem. If you don't practice, if it's not your original language,
but
you
it is
lose it.
a
You
magical
lose it.
place.
Oh,
The
that's
old
Nice.
town
Yeah, Nice is
and the
gorgeous.
old town
Yeah,
and the markets and the food
yeah. That's where I like to go, and it's funny because, for instance, I do not eat any pizza in America. I don't like
because
pizza,
it's
but
so the flat itself, it's
I don't like
just,
the pizza here.
yeah.
But in Nice, they
Oh,
have a place called La Pizza. La Pizza Cressy. That's the name of the owner. And when I get out of the plane, I drive to the Pizza Cressy to have a pizza every time.
well,
That's the best.
they also have that ancient um flatbread made with chickpea flour.
It's called soca.
With chickpea flour,
Yeah,
right?
it's soca. Well,
And it's done in
it's
the
famous. Yeah,
wooden,
yes, wooden
and then you'd have
fire.
to, you'd go down in the middle of the
Yes,
night and you go
that's
stand
the
in line
plan.
and you
That
wait for them,
with a
right?
glass of rosé wine, that
Oh
goes
yeah, see,
perfectly. You have to eat with your fingers.
I
You
think we should
remember?
just stop now and just go
Exactly,
somewhere and try to find it,
exactly,
and
try to
right,
find.
right.
So
Oh,
yes,
so
it's fun that you went to that
yeah, I
conservatory.
did.
So
It
that's
was it's, I think for many of us, as I was younger, much younger, but and performing a great deal and perfecting my craft and my art, and to go there and to be with musicians and perform all day long and
mhm.
go to concerts. And I went to the Nice Jazz Festival that was
Yes,
there,
yeah, very
and
good.
I'll never
I played at that festival.
and I heard the Modern Jazz Quartet. I mean, we're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
back, right?
well, that was
Right?
great. That
Yeah. Oh,
amazing
I mean,
bands.
I still have in my ear the final note
Mm.
from the marimba
Oh,
player. I mean, it was just
wow.
like, where did he choose that note? Why that note? And I remember kind of walking through the gardens in this, because everything was so casual too.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
so, like, if you were to have a jazz festival in your own backyard, you would do it that
Yes,
way, right?
exactly.
Over there's a
Uh,
little bit of that, and over
you
there's.
know,
So I walked around this corner. I'll stop talking and let you talk, but
no,
it
no,
says
it's
we're having
you
a
gotta.
niece reunion
Yes,
here,
of
right?
course.
And I walked around, and there was this jazz quintet, I believe, and right there, not fancy, right,
Mhm.
and just benches, and I sat and I go, wow, that is just amazing, because there's a trumpet player and a keyboard player, and just go, wow, that is just amazing. Wow, it was Wynton Marsalis, but it
Yeah,
was like
very good.
40 years ago,
Yes, yes, yes.
when before everything
Yeah,
broke for
before,
him.
you didn't. Yeah.
So I have very, very, and I've not been back, but I would love to go back and take
Yeah.
my
Unfortunately,
adult daughter
they
with me.
changed the place of the jazz festival. They're not doing it in the arenas, the old Roman
Yeah,
ruin.
that's where I
So
saw
they're
the man in
doing it
dress.
next to the Mediterranean, in
Oh
the
yeah, down by the,
down by the
yeah.
water over there. And I supposed to play. They're having the anniversary of that jazz festival, and I'm
Mm.
supposed to play with some people from Nice at that
Well, you
festival. So
better
that'll be
go.
great. Oh yeah,
Oh
I gotta
yeah,
go, gotta go.
you gotta go.
So anyway, so it's fun that you went to that
Yes, no,
conservatory.
and again, your origin. We're talking about your origin story. I didn't mean to talk about a piece of my origin story, but your origin story is that you came out of this. Um, it wasn't determined that you were going to be a musician or an upright bass player.
Yeah,
There were a lot of little accidents that occurred
the
along
thing
the
is
way,
just
right?
usually you're doing what excites you. You end up being the universe put you in the right place at the right time. It's
That's
like, as I told you, I was really self-taught of the piano and the guitar, and then the bass. I started playing the bass, and finally I went to that conservatory we were talking about, and it was like a 3-year courses, to learn. So
I
in
mean,
the
conservatories are
first month,
serious places to
yeah,
learn music.
yeah. So
It's
first
right,
month
right,
I was in the
right.
first year, of course. Second month they moved me to the second year, and third month they put me on the third year. Because I
Hmm.
was already, I could
It was.
understand, I could play, so easily. So
I like what you
that's what it
said.
happened.
The
So
universe puts you in the right place,
yeah, the right
right?
moment. And beside that, somebody started lending me, an electric bass and all that. So then I bought an electric bass, and I was at the time, you had the Bills and thing, the pop music, boom, boom, well, it was boring. So then I got into James Brown. Finally, some people playing some interesting bass line, So Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett. So I end up playing all those bass lines. That's
Well,
how
and
I
then you
learned to play the
kind of,
electric bass.
from what I read and what I'm absorbed about your career, you kind of created another way of playing the
Well,
bass,
what it
right?
was, I tell you, what it was, it's just I used to listen to people playing bass solos that sounded like a mystery. It was like boom, boom, bidding, boom, ding, boom, boom. It was like I wanted to play a solo like Coltrane, like a Herbie Hancock. I wanted to make some phrasing, so I started practicing to do that. I was just practicing playing phrases and scales and thing going up and down. And one day there's a friend of mine who played me a record. Said, "Oh, listen to that!" And it was a Bill Evans trio at the Montreux Jazz Festival, and he just put the track where there was a bass solo by Eddie Gomez, "Embraceable You." And I
Mm,
heard, I say, "That's it. That's what I want to do." That showed me that I was in the right track. I was doing what I wanted to do. So I actually
mhm.
don't play like that marvelous player. I love Eddie Gomez, but I kept doing what I wanted to do because I heard him that it was actually possible.
Right.
After that, you have Stanley Clark with Chick Correa with the acoustic bass,
Right.
and I loved it, the sound and all that, and that's what I was doing is just playing, jazz and improvising on the bass and things like that. And one day, a keyboard player, a friend of mine, his name is Daniel Goyon. He's on a couple of my albums. One day he came to my house with a record. He said, "Oh, you listen to that. There's a guy who plays like you." I pick up the guy. It was Jacko. It was the album Jacko, and I listened to it. It was beautiful, the sound and thing. It was a
Oh,
great compliment. But
yeah.
just to tell you, I was playing stuff like that already. It was
Yeah,
not
wonderful.
so. No,
So,
what's good about it because I had all those people that I listened to. I didn't have to get stuck like trying to play like Jacko or Stanley Clark. I listened to all those bass players. I remember Paul Jackson with the. I love the way that guy played the bass with the Herbie Hancock. The Headhunters. I love that bass guy the way he plays. So all that is what I put in my bag to create what I
mhm,
do. So that's
mhm. But
that's the
always reaching
secret.
for something that was your
Yes.
own style, right? It was
Exactly.
like there was still
Exactly.
that, but what an artist does,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like you
I wa-
wake, you know that it's a little bit of this and a little bit of
yeah,
this,
and
but it's
then
me
yeah,
coming through.
exactly
Right,
coming through.
right.
And I was fortunate. I was playing in the Ronnie Scott Club in London with Tanya Maria, so killer pianist, singer, Brazilian, and Andre Chick Correa on drums. It was just a trio, all that. And every night we had a guy that was there. I didn't know who he was, with a cognac and all that. Was Patrick Moraz. Patrick Moraz, who played with Yes, played with the Moody Blues keyboards and things. I didn't know really who he was at all. And he was every night say, "Oh man, there's only you only have like Stanley, Jacko, Jeff Berlin, and you." Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. The guys. And then on Saturday, so tomorrow I'm not coming. I'm going to see Chick Corea. I say, "Oh, that's a better idea." You say, "No, no, but I'm going to bring it. He has to listen to you." And I didn't know that was his friend. He brought, and the Chick was looking for a bass player, and he came. And that's how I met Chick Corea, and he said, "Oh, that's the guy I want to
So
replace
how long were
Stanley
you
Clark."
with Chick
Chick
Corea?
Corea, 78 to 86.
That's a good run, boy.
So,
Wow.
and I was a little bit in between. I was with Tony Williams because Chick was doing duet with Herbie Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
So, and after that, I was with you know different people. I played with Herbie, with Wayne Shorter.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
all
know.
the all my
Major.
heroes.
So along the way, as you were seeking this, your unique sound and your unique facility on the instrument, that you started to adapt the instrument, right?
Yes, of course,
And
because
what did you do? Do you play a fretless bass?
yes,
A fretless
fretless
bass.
bass. I played fretted at the beginning, of course, but playing the acoustic bass,
Yeah,
yeah,
which
if you
is
want to have,
naturally
yeah,
unfret.
naturally you want to
Right,
fretless,
right.
and uh, the idea is just to keep doing the way what you want to do, the way you want to do it, and because you cannot listen to other people's beliefs. The problem with people beliefs, they don't really achieve anything because they believe something that somebody else told them. Oh, you gotta find a job, and with a job, then after that you can play the. No, no. You want to play the bass, you want to play the guitar, you want to play the drums. You're gonna practice every day, 8 hours. I was practicing 10 hours a day, and that's the only way. Just keep practicing and focusing on what you want to achieve, and do not listen to anybody. It's your life. You're the one who should make the decision. It's your belief, and you're the one who's going to create your life with your belief. That's how it goes. So if you listen to somebody else, then you become a belief thief. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and I never thought, and on top of it, you have to do it without expectations. I never thought I would play with Chick Correa. No, I just keep going. I wanted to do that. I wanted to, I didn't have any expectation whatsoever. And when you do that, the universe puts you in the right spot to do, that's how I end up meeting Chick Correa, coming here to replace Stanley Clark. And you understand? And I
I
never thought of it. I
understand.
never
Yeah.
put in my mind, I never thought, oh, I'm going to be a great bass player, then I'll play with Herbie Hancock. I never thought that
But
way.
you're saying it so really so beautifully, the essence of why we are working so hard to make sure that every young person has a chance to learn music.
Yeah,
I mean, we are because
that's why I'm saying that.
right. I mean, this is the essence of our work at the NAMM Foundation, and what we love to talk about on talking at music education
Yes.
is it's for some it's a choice to pursue this work so passionately. For someone, it's not a choice because it's such a passion,
Yes,
right? You just
exactly.
have to keep working on it,
Yes.
and the work that we're hoping to foster is that we just want the opportunities to be there. You bumped into some opportunities along the way,
Yeah,
right?
because
You know,
I didn't put anything ahead. I just keep doing
you keep right,
what I wanted to do and the way
right,
I wanted to do it. And
right.
of course, I was playing, in south of France. I was playing gigs in casinos. Played in Monte Carlo. The
Right.
blackjack. I
Yep.
play. You gotta make a living, so I was doing the
You
gigs
put it
and
all
things like
together. Yep.
playing the bass. I wouldn't play solos, bass solos. I would play the bass.
Right. Right.
And then after that, I moved to Paris because that was the place at the time to do recording sessions. You have all those big studios, and I actually recorded for a lot of French artists at the time. And to tell you the truth, I really don't remember. You go into a room, you go in with your bass, you go in the studio, you're signing a paper to get paid. And they put headphones, sit, on a chair. You have a chart. They put, thing, and then 3, 4, and you playing. You play. You reading the thing, and then it's finished.
We say
You
thank you,
play another
everyone.
one, and
Right.
then thank
Right.
you, and you leave. So you don't. I don't. I didn't know at all with these people. Few people I knew,
Yeah.
but some of them I recorded a lot of people on for a lot of
But
people, and
it's
I have no
part of the
idea.
picture. I mean, you were a
Yeah.
studio musician.
Exact.
You were
Playing the
right.
bass. That's what I
Right.
tell people. If you want to play the bass, stop doing what I hear people. They have like a 12-string basses and they're playing chords, solos, and things. It's just like if you want to work as a bass player, you're gonna have to play the bass. That's the
Mhm.
first things you have to do.
Mhm.
That's why Stanley Clark was successful. He always played the bass.
Right.
Of course, he became famous because the solos were beautiful, but he still played the bass.
Right.
When he's not soloing, he's playing the bass. And unfortunately, I'm saying that for the youngster, a lot of them don't understand that. I hear some people that are like amazing technique playing solos, but they don't know really how to do what we call the pocket. And that's where it is. If you want to work with bands, you're gonna have to play the bass, play the pocket. You
Be in
really
the
nail
rhythm,
the thing down.
the rhythm section. Lay it
Yeah,
down.
nail it
Right.
down.
Yep.
Because that's the job the bass supposed to be. If on top of it, then you can play a bass solo, they are gonna make you play a bass solo. But
Right.
don't forget the first thing first, play the bass. As I say, I learned how to play the bass listening to all those great artists,
Yeah.
and that's how I did it.
So you're also active now promoting and helping other young bass players, right? You've just
Yes,
given us a very good riff on that, right?
yes.
What,
I
right?
always like to do
Do you teach? Do
clinics
you
and
have a
things.
studio that students are you're working with students? You say you
Yes, yes, I do. I usually teach at the SIR studio, in Hollywood on
mm-hmm.
Sunset. There's a probably heard about SIR. There's one in New York. There's 15 location in America with that studio. So I'm the one in Hollywood over there, and that's where I give some bass lessons. You
Because I
know,
think it's so important that the upcoming generation
hmm
has access to what you know. And, if it's through a lesson or a clinic or
yeah,
a paid clinic by someone else, like a manufacturer that endorses you or that they sponsor the clinic, we just
yes,
have to pass it on,
yeah.
right?
That was great. You know, I did some
Right.
clinic for ESP,
Mm-hmm.
the people that are doing. I design a bass for ESP, the Bunny Brunel LTD model, and I use like Eden amplifier. So I'm doing some for these people. I'm
Right.
doing some clinics, and people
Well,
really enjoy it.
I thank you for knowing that you need to give back and for giving back,
Definitely need
right?
to do that.
It completes you. So, another really important thing that we'll kind of
Yes,
wrap up with is you are a chef.
that's what people they
So,
found
you
out.
were
You know.
trained in the hospitality business. You
Yeah.
had this long arc into artistry, and you
Yes.
are well known and recording artist, still in high demand and very, very well known. So, is this just something? Is this a hobby? Is this part of the
No.
passion? Is part of the
Yeah.
picture of
That.
the
Yeah.
the man from Nice who
Yeah.
must make music and
Yeah.
must
As I told you,
make fantastic food?
as I told you, uh, uh, I went to that Ecole Hoteliere de Nice, and I learned about everything about hotels, including cooking. And I liked the cooking because it was the artistic part of it. And I end up, working for some really famous hotel restaurant, Palm Beach in Cannes, Grand Hotel du Cap in Saint Jean Cap Ferrat. Really like a, and I'm a gourmet cook because I learned about it because my parents wanted me to have a job.
Well, yes, most
So
parents do.
I had a
Let's just
job, I had a
admit that,
diploma, I
right?
have the diploma from the,
Something
and
reliable,
then, yeah, and
right?
then I did what I wanted to do. But they were
Yeah.
happy because I had it. So, and I always cook at home and all that and make some dinners, invite people, and because it's easy, it's not like some people, oh, you cook. Yes, it's very easy. I can cook whatever, I know how to
Yeah.
cook. If I don't remember, I have a little thing with a resume of, recipes. Oh, yeah, yeah, I know how to do that, and I do it.
All right.
So,
So I'm going to put you on. What's a favorite thing to cook? Let's say if I called you at 4 o'clock and said I'm coming over at 7, you didn't have a time to go to the market. What would you whip up? An
you know,
omelet, a beautiful omelet with herbs from the
no, I
garden,
would
or
do
no?
probably. You got some chicken. I could do some soca for you because I know how to make soca.
You do.
Yeah.
I thought I had to go to Nice for that.
No, no, no. I can do it. I can do the
Oh
soca.
darn! That's
Darn.
why I
Yeah.
want to go
No,
to
no.
back to Nice
No,
for
it
that.
does. It all depends. Whatever is in the refrigerator, I'll be able to do
That's the
something. It doesn't
beauty.
matter.
I think that's the beauty of real French cooking is
Yeah.
what is available. It's
hmm
not so much like, "Oh, I have to rush around and get the
Yeah.
perfect,
Well,
right?
yeah.
It's like,
When I want to do something, usually depending how many people, if it's a lot of people, then I change the kind of recipe idea of what I'm gonna do. If it's few people, then I can make something different. But like for instance, I did a special evening at there's a place called the Bistro in in Newport Beach. I played with my band Cab over there, but I did an entree for the people. So I went a day before and I prepare, in entree it was like some seafood with some what we call armorican sauce. It's like Normandy style sauce, flambe with cognac and things like that, with some uh, potatoes, and some rice
and then
and I
you,
did a specialty from Nice for the vegan. I made some ratatouille.
oh,
That's vegan.
so then
Ratatouille
you
is
served,
delicious.
then your entree was on the menu, and
Yeah,
then you were, and
the
the
chef
dessert
took care
was
of it.
your ensemble,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. We played because on a day we playing, I didn't cook. Right, the chef took care of
Right.
finishing and serving.
Hmm.
But I did it because somebody found out, that I was could do that. It's
Well, now everybody knows.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Everybody knows. It was a Florentino Buenaventura who set it up.
yeah.
Part of
Oh yes, part of
yeah,
EnterTalk Radio,
Entertalk Radio. He's
and
the one.
we're
He's the one who figured out. Oh, let's do that, and
we
they
have
cornered me.
so are grateful for our partnership with Paul and Florentino and
Yes,
EnterTalk Radio, and really their help in getting these great ideas out to the world
yes.
and sharing your wonderful
Like
ideas
cooking.
and making music and
That's the
reinventing the bass.
cooking on the base as well. Yes,
And
that's what it is.
you no doubt could have been a 5-star hospitality executive.
Yeah, I
But
could have, yeah, no,
here
I
you
wouldn't
are,
do the
a
job. No, no.
5-star,
People telling me, oh, why don't you open? And no, I'm not going to do
but
that.
you are a 5-star
It's a crazy.
fretless bass player and innovator,
And that's
right?
thank you very much. So I tried to create something. As I said, I wanted to play like a solo, like Coltrane and all that. And I like melodies, making it very melodic. In fact, when my friend brought me that record of Jaco, what I picked up immediately from him is like the melodies, so beautiful. That guy would play those solo. They were incredibly melodic and beautiful. And that's what
Mm.
I like. I say, oh yeah, yeah. Because I was already playing like a bat out of hell, and like that you can like, oh no, no, let's start slower and make it like
Right,
that's
right.
what I got from Jaco. That idea
Mm.
of creating something with a nice melody. Instead of playing 1,000 notes. And I tell people, when you play solo, think of playing a melody. It's playing 1,000 notes doesn't mean anything
Yeah.
if you don't make it melodic that people can remember. So what you played. you know
So we'll finish with those words of wisdom. I think those are very important words of wisdom, right?
well,
Play,
if you
play
think
a
so.
melody,
Yeah, melody. If
right?
you
Make
you know
sure that you're constructing something
yeah,
that people can remember,
that's why I like
right?
what Stevie Wonder said, is if there is no melody, you cannot call it music. So that goes against a little bit the rappers right there, but I'm sorry, that's what he said. And I
Mm-hmm.
agree with him. You have to have a
Mm-hmm.
melody.
Mm-hmm. We have to have a melody, and we all have a song in our hearts. And the chance that we have to make music allows us to express that and create a more musical world. So we thank you so much,
I thank you,
Bunny,
Mary.
for our wonderful conversation
Thank you.
about one of my most wonderful memories of living
Yeah,
and studying and
very
playing and
good.
hanging out in Nice, your
Yeah, that's
hometown.
amazing. And
Yeah,
as you said, you play the flute.
yeah, I
So
did. I don't.
th- this is a great flute player, like Kellyn Peoples,
Okay,
who is right here, so you can talk to her.
wonderful.
She's a very good flute player.
Thank you.
You
Well,
know.
thank you all for joining us and EnterTalk Radio on our live webcast here from the NAMM Show with Bunny Brunel, a name known to so many in the world of jazz and jazz bass and good food and good gatherings and good live music and bass innovation. And we wish you all the luck.
Yes, we didn't. I designed all those bases, for different people.
Yeah.
Right now it's with Eden.
Yep.
The first one I did was in 1986 was for Gibson. There is some people who actually play the Gibson Bunny Brunel. One of them is one of my students, the son of Clint Eastwood, Kyle Eastwood. He's got three of them, they are
Wow.
Gibson. So then after that, I went to Carvin for a while, and with Eden, that I was doing Eden. I mean ESP right now,
ESP, right.
that doing a fantastic job.
That's
Very very
wonderful.
good.
That's wonderful. So thank you for joining us and being a part of Talking at Music Education, a podcast of the NAMM Foundation. Thank you.